guys, it's your girl Kennedy, and welcome to Edified Minds Podcast. I am here for season 2, episode 1, and this is where I discuss issues that Black women are facing in our 20s, Black culture debacles, and just overcoming the social media toxicity that we see every single day. All right. If you're interested, make sure that you hit that subscribe button and then also share every episode with your friends on Apple, Spotify, and iHeartRadio. Let's get into it. Okay, cool. All right, y'all. So let me tell y'all about this week, okay? Because you guys know I always start off with telling you the tea about me. I feel like this week has been extremely stressful. I've spoken with a lot of friends about just different things that's going on in our lives, like the financial problems that we're having. I don't know about y'all, but this inflation stuff is just beyond me. I'm really getting sick and tired of it. I feel like your girl is literally living paycheck to paycheck. And I feel like Biden hasn't done anything for us, but I'm not even going to get into that, y'all. Okay. I've just been on this self-understanding journey where every single move that I make, I feel like I'm critiquing myself. And as I'm starting season 2, you guys, I'm like, I don't know. I feel like I'm overthinking a lot of things. And people were asking me, how come you only had 7 episodes? Why are you just putting out bonus episodes? And I am in a season where I just feel like I feel like I'm not like doing good enough. My birthday is Sunday, y'all. So your girl's going to be 27. And I am really excited for this new chapter. But for me, I am contemplating whether this point in my life I should be doing something else. And my therapist and I, we have a exercise called Shouldn't You? Get it? Shitting on you? Okay, shouldn't you? It's pretty much catching myself when I say I should be doing something. And a lot of us are always telling ourselves what we should be doing. Like, I'm 27. I should be married. I'm 27. I should have my Frenchie walking around here. I should have my Prada bag. But that's really not reality, you guys. And that's what this episode is about, embracing the new. It is extremely scary. It's new grounds we're walking on. But let me tell you, when I was doing my podcast earlier this year, like season 1, it was extremely new for me. I had just quit a job. I had just gotten out of a relationship. I mean, it was so much that was going on in my mind. And I did not know really how to pivot. But when you embrace the new, a lot of great things come about. And you guys have been just like constantly affirming me that you've needed this podcast and you've needed somebody to edify your mind, because before we let social media get in our minds and we let other people's opinions get in the way instead of really honing in on what we know about ourselves. Like, I'm a woman of God and y'all know that. Like, everything that I go through, it's got to do with him. He's going to be the one I go to at the end of the day. But we still face situations where we question him and we're like, why am I in this position? So I literally have been like dealing with this week, and then I'm looking on social media and I'm seeing situations with like, Blueface and Krishan and, Ebony K. Williams and the Tyler Perry stuff. And I'm thinking to myself, these are distractions. These are distractions for the Black community. These are distractions for Black women that are taking us off our game when it comes to what we're supposed to do with our lives. I can't base my relationship off Blueface and Miss Ma'am. Okay, I can't base my relationship off them. But what I can do is I can think, okay, I'm in a relationship. How is it going for me now? What am I doing to strengthen it? Or what can I work on? And this week has been a lot of reflecting, y'all, because I'm getting closer to 30 and I'm scared. I'm so scared of teetering on the lines of 30, y'all. And society is telling me that it should look a certain way. And I'm finally embracing the fact that 27 looks the way that it's going to be for me. So season 1 was definitely interesting. And I'll give you guys the 411. Like, starting a new podcast is not easy. I mean, it is humbling to say the least. And I felt like I was expecting people to be on board, or I was expecting people to kind of critique me, but I ended up getting some listeners that really like gave me some good advice on what to do for like moving forward. And season one for me was really, if I'm just being real, getting stuff off my chest that I've just had on my chest for some time. Like 2022 towards fourth quarter, it was completely bad for me. And I think if you listened to season one, and I encourage you to, I have an episode about fasting. I fasted for 30 days straight, and something just told me to make a podcast, start to hone in on my personality, hone in on just what God's gifts have been for me, which is really like my voice. And it's been a journey, you guys. Like, if I'm being vulnerable right now, I was afraid to even come out with a season two because I did not know what I wanted to say. And if you guys have been asking and wondering, why have I not put out a season two earlier? It's because like these past few months, I've just been traveling. I've been dating. That's why, I got a little chubby cheek. I've been dating a bit and I've really just been living. I've been listening to Black women's point of view. I've been doing a lot of research and I feel like that's what's needed. Like making content is not easy. It's just not. And every time that I get behind a camera or get on this freaking microphone, it's just, I don't know, it's not easy. Like you're having to talk to like nobody. Thankfully I got my girlfriend right here. She's helping me set up and everything, but it's super like strange to just put yourself out there to strangers. And so that's why I needed a break. I needed to really figure out what God wanted me to say to you guys, if He wanted me to pivot. And I feel like now is the time to go ahead and put out season two. So I'm really appreciative that you guys are listening. And I'm looking at my list right now. I had a creativity block. That's why right now I'm looking at a script, y'all, because this is what your girl needs right now. I used to go off the dome every time, but creativity blocks are real. And when you go through transitions in life that throw you back, it's hard for you to know what to talk about. I don't want to be like anybody else. I don't want to mimic other people's content. So I really needed that moment of just exploring. I went to Houston for the first time. I went to Panama City Beach. And when I was in Panama City Beach, like it totally made me think of high school and how my mom never let me go. She never let me go turn up for spring break. So I finally got my lick back. Hello, mother. And when I was in Houston, like now I see what Drake's talking about. Houston, Atlanta, Vegas. I mean, it was like so much fun, but it was hot as hell. It was so hot. And every time that I was going out and about, like I was sweating. I mean, I had braids at the time and it was just an amazing girls trip. Good food, good night scene. Like all this stuff was like reminded me of Atlanta. That's where I'm based. But I really needed those times where I could be myself and talk to others and see different parts of like the world, even though it's not like global, but other parts of like the country, where like I'm not normally there, just to really get the juices flowing. And I'm here, I'm back. It's going to be interviews going on. I mean, I'm just super excited. So this episode is about embracing the new. And I want to give you guys 5 ways to embrace the new. So as I'm approaching my birthday, I've been catching myself like comparing myself to the old version of me. And I was on Facebook the other day, just looking at like different videos and different photos. And I was like, what was I wearing? Like, what was I wearing back then? And why was my hair looking like that? And I was so much slimmer and I was literally just eating myself alive, you guys, because I remember the old Kennedy, the pros and the cons. And a lot of us remember this version of ourselves that we thought to be, I don't know, better than where we currently are or less than. And we pick that old version apart instead of thinking in a strategic and like constructive way. There are times where I'm like, I wish I did my hair, better in college, or I wish that I didn't go back to a certain person. I wish that, I dressed better. I wish that I had approached the situation better. But I think when we focus on the new, that's when we see change. There is absolutely nothing that I can do to change the past. There's just nothing I can do. And there's nothing that you can do about it. If we've made mistakes, all that we owe to ourselves really is to not make the same mistake. And I want to kick it off with killing your old self. That's first and foremost. You got to kill your old self. Whoever I was 2, 3 years ago, that's not who I am. And over the summer, I went to Savannah for a family reunion, and I got a cousin, love her to death, but we fell out pretty bad when I was in college. I did something pretty horrible, left her out in the cold pretty much, and she cut me off, rightfully so. But I found myself re-explaining to her who the new version of me is. Like, I'm not who I am, I'm not who I was back then. And I'm sorry that I wasn't a good friend. I didn't know how to be a good friend. And she literally told me in like the most humble way, like, I know that. Like, I know that you're not the same person. Like, we all grow. Like, why are you kind of, bringing this up? And I thought about it and I said, damn, I really am walking in this old version of myself. Like, I don't want to be stuck in the past. And that's so easy for a lot of us to do, whether it's about us, relationships, family trauma. A lot of the times we don't get over things. And so it eats us apart every day. And I encourage therapy for that reason. You'll realize a lot of us walk in our trauma, and that's the reason why we make the decisions we do. So I really encourage a lot of you guys to kill your old self, your old ways and your comfort zones. That is what is holding you back. If something's not working for you, let it go. How many times have you tried to make it work with old boy and it's not working? It doesn't matter if you give him more attention, more affection. Doesn't matter if you trust him more. Doesn't matter what you're doing. If it's not working, you got to kind of know when to pivot. That's next part. Matter of fact, is becoming a visionary. A lot of entrepreneurs, a lot of successful people daydream a lot. And when we were younger, our teachers would always tell us, stop daydreaming. It's like they were trying to kill the vision of ourselves that we wanted. And I feel like that was really counterproductive. Daydream. Envision yourself being the person you want to be. Every single day, I look at my vision board. Every single day, I remind myself of the woman that I want to become. But so many of us are not even reflecting on that every day. And so you're just kind of going with the motion. Keep in mind, ladies, we're emotional creatures, okay? So if you're going with emotion, every day could be something. And you don't want to operate like that, because that's when you start to walk in regret. Oh, I shouldn't have reacted that way. I shouldn't have, moved in this manner. But at that point, it's too late, because you did not have a strategic vision for your day. You got to have a vision for your day to day. Literally, that's what every successful person says, that every day it's a plan. I'm going to wake up at 6 o'clock. I'm going to meditate. I'm going to read the Bible. After that, I'm going to go to the gym. After that, I'm going to have some type of strategy, some type of that. After that, I'm going to, eat a healthy meal. Every day, it's got to be some type of strategy. And without that, without a vision, it's pretty impossible for you to be successful, because you can't even envision it. There have been plenty of times where I've said I want something and I can't even envision it. So that right there is also a key component to embracing the new. After you envision being successful, you'll start to walk in it. And it's the weirdest thing that I think is actually pretty cool about humans. It's like we have the power to make our lives whatever we want it to be. And I'm reading a book right now that is so, so deep. And it literally talks about how we have the power to create our own life. Like, nobody is going to do things for us. And while I do believe heavily in God, I know that what he wants for me to do is to walk in it. I can't have faith with no action. I can't expect for him to give me all the desires that I want if I'm not able to even see it for myself. So in addition to vision, it's very important that you express gratitude. Where are you now? While I'm scared of 27 and 30 and all these things, I literally reflected this morning and I cried. I cried and I reflected about how far I've come, all the mistakes I've made, the lessons that I've learned, where I am now. I thought, man, I'm so blessed compared to others in this world. I don't want to be ungrateful and I don't want to be selfish. Of course, I want more for myself, but what I can appreciate is that I'm here. I'm breathing. I am blessed. I'm not struggling. I have different type of challenges every day. We all do. But when we embrace those and we become grateful for what it's producing, that is when all you can do is walk in gratitude. And that's an exercise that my therapist and I also go over. Like every single day, I have to look in the mirror and say what I'm thankful for and how I love myself. And like, it's kind of weird at first because you're just like talking to yourself, looking yourself dead in the eye, like, I love you. I want to be with just you. You know what I mean? Like, you're amazing. You've got this, you've got that. But how many of us have just sat down, like, seriously, and just looked around us and just been like, I'm grateful to just have on clothes. Other people don't have clothes. I'm grateful to, be in a home. I'm grateful to have friends. I'm grateful to have someone that loves me, and it's an amazing feeling when you just sit in that and you start to kind of forget about the parts of you that you don't like. You got to think of all the things you said you wanted before and that you actually have now. Because 2 years ago during COVID, I said that I wanted to have my own apartment. I wanted to just be doing myself, solo dolo, just kind of doing me. And that's exactly where I am. I've got my apartment. I said back in high school, I wanted this big Sweet 16. I got my Sweet 16. I said back in college, I wanted to graduate. I graduated. A lot of the things that we put out in the air, we actually have gotten. We actually have, but yet we always want something else. Like we're never satisfied. And to me, that is the complete opposite of embracing the new. Like I have to check myself because that's just the opposite of that. There's no way that we're going to get far if we keep looking back and we're not actually seeing, oh man, things are starting to shake around me. With expressing gratitude, there comes a lot of doubts, like a lot of doubts of what's going to happen next. There's a lot of questions that we ask ourselves, like, why can't we flourish into a new, improved person? Why can't we get the things we want? Why can't we get the cars and the followers and the recognition the way others around us seem to have? But my question is, why can't you? I feel like a lot of us are doubting ourselves. We're doubting our potential. That's why for the longest I didn't start a podcast. I was afraid. I compared myself to others and they continued to surpass me because I was just sitting there, not doing anything but just complaining. And I talked about this in season 1, episode 1. It's like, stop doubting yourself. Stop talking down on yourself and not believing in you, because if you don't believe in you, no one else is. There's been just too many cases I've been seeing of my sisters, for real, my sisters, especially on TikTok, where we are constantly doubting our potential and we are focused on what others are saying about us. And we're trying to fit in this box that really is unrealistic AF, extremely unrealistic. And so we're constantly walking in doubt. So what if you haven't had a boyfriend before? You can have a husband tomorrow. So what if you're not at your dream job? That can change overnight. And I believe that if you continue to doubt yourself, you're blocking your blessings, because I just know for a fact that if you don't think you can do it, you're not gonna do it. Your mind has to match your body and has to match your spirit. Everything's got to be aligned. And without everything believing that you can do it, you're just going to be stuck. Embrace the new, y'all. And lastly, appreciate where you are now. I just feel like that's different than gratitude for me, because gratitude is like, oh, I'm thankful, for this and that. But actually just being okay with where you are, that's acceptance. When you accept where you are, when you focus in the present, when you thrive in the present, when you just really just like literally YOLO's a real thing. When you just YOLO, then I feel like that's when you're embracing the new. And that's when you can really be who you are, because we're always going to change. And like, I'm not going to be this Kennedy, a couple years from now. I'm really not. And so I'm looking forward to that, because I know during that journey, during that chapter, I just only can imagine the things that are going to be in store for me. And you got to start setting yourself up now so that your future can be exactly what you're wanting. I was reading a book not too long ago, and it said in that book that a lot of us are where we are today because of what we did 3 years ago. Feel me? Your future depends on your now. It depends on your present. So that's why you have to actually appreciate where you are now and just really do your best in this moment. Because if not, it's going to impact where you are in the future. So, ladies, I just really feel I'm like reflecting, and I've just been talking to so many friends, and we all are going through different journeys where we just feel like, why is this happening to me? We really are all going through it, but I really want for us to embrace the pain, embrace the hardships, embrace the challenges that are here, because it's only going to make us stronger. God has said it time and time again, and I feel like we've seen it in entrepreneurs, in business moguls and athletes and a lot of successful people, that we view as successful. They've all gone through those hardships where they were at the totem pole. But look at them now. If they didn't take that in, if they just kept walking around, slumping over, complaining, I'm sure they'd be in the same place. So, ladies, I'm really excited for your journey. And I want you to send this to a sister or a friend who is really just struggling right now. Like, this should be a podcast you listen to wake up to, because everything I'm saying is going to get you revved up for the day. Embrace the new. Tomorrow's a brand new day. Embrace that. Prepare for it and be appreciative that it is here. We've seen way too many people passing, way too many people that don't get it tomorrow. So I want for us to embrace it. We have to be here. We have to really just hone in on it. And, for me, it's like embracing this new version of the podcast. Like, I'm embracing this. And so I'm just excited for what is to come, ladies. Actually, today is a day I'm going to celebrate my mom's birthday. So I have to get going, and make sure that you hit that subscribe button. Make sure you follow me on edifiedminds.podcast on Instagram, Edified Minds Podcast on TikTok, and make sure you listen on Apple, iHeart, and Spotify. All right, y'all. See you soon. Peace.